Welcome back to Common Sense. I'm Representative Patricia Morgan, and I have with me today Doug Ouimette, who is a Subway owner, and has been talking about the effects of minimum wage. As we finished the last segment, we were talking about the effects on businesses of the minimum wage. You have not created any new jobs as a result of the minimum wage.
No, and this year I have the least amount of employees I've ever had.
Okay, so you've actually had to get rid of somebody. Too bad for them, right?
Yeah.
I guess that's what our state leadership would say. Too bad for them, because we're gonna look like we're wonderful because we're raising the minimum wage for everybody. But it is too bad for them because they needed that job. Probably a young person saving for college or just getting their lives launched, right? Understanding work and making money and saving and spending.
And from my standpoint, I don't want to get rid of that person, not because I want to be a good guy. I truly need X amount of people in X amount of positions to produce the best customer service, to improve my intake and raise the income, but I am not able to do that.
It's diminishing return for you, and I think that's what you were saying.
Yeah.
Your take home has decreased now by $20,000.
Yep.
And at a certain point, is it worth it for you to stay open?
No, it's not. I mean, it's at a point where you can't even sell the business. It's like, why am I here? And there is so much. People do not understand how much you go through as a business owner with state regulations and sales tax. Wonderful thing, right? I'm an unpaid tax collector. I collect sales tax. If I don't get it to the state on time in the way they want it, to the exact penny, I am fined a sizable amount of money. But, my point to that is I understand, I collect it, here, it's yours.
Sure.
But I don't want that job. I'm an unpaid tax collector. So just from that, along with litter control is a tax where people throw stuff out their windows, and we all pay to pick it up.
And file a form about it, too. I understand. Yeah. We have a wonderful regulation there. There's a lot of regulations, a lot of fees. If you close down, how many people lose their livelihood?
I would say on an average 10 per store.
In your store?
Yep.
But then how about your insurance man? How about the guy who fixes your refrigerator or does the work on your stoves?
Yep.
Right? How about the people at the grocery store where you buy your fresh produce?
Yep.
Right? They're all affected as well.
Correct.
So it becomes diminishing returns after a while. It's not just your employees. No. It's all the others that feed into your little store. You're an engine of growth.
Right.
The figures our employment figures are out for the month of February, and we grew 300 whole jobs in Rhode Island. Pretty tepid. I know the unemployment rate has gone down, but to me that's less important in Rhode Island than the number of jobs we're growing.
Yep.
Right? To me, raising the minimum wage is a failure of leadership. Yeah, I don't. You don't know whether you want to weigh in on that, but it is a failure of leadership. Yeah. And we go back to what you just said. You're an unpaid tax collector. You have all these regulations and fees that you're constantly paying. We need to take those off of businesses, off of our jobs creators, so they can thrive.
Right.
I got some figures today. In Atlanta, the youth unemployment rate is 45%. It's bad, right? Young people sitting at home on the sofa in the basement instead of being out starting their lives. In San Diego, it's only 26%. Still high, but much, much less, half. What do you think the difference is?
Well, all I know is I'm getting more and more older folks looking for work. People very dependable. In unfortunate circumstances, they've lost their job. They can't find work. They're in their mid-20s, got out of college, got student loans. Literally, I can start yesterday, people with degrees, master's degrees. So, can work 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Who am I going to hire?
Yeah.
Okay, normally that person wouldn't even be showing up or would never think of working for minimum wage. So,
You know, my son was a waiter. He went to URI and became a waiter for a few years until he found a good job in Massachusetts. But I keep thinking we must have the most skilled restaurant force, most educated restaurant force in the United States here in Rhode Island. And the point I'm making is, we're not fixing the basic parts of our economy, right? We're not lowering property taxes, which affects residential people as well as commercial people, right? We're not getting rid of the inventory tax. Why did Amazon, was it, or eBay go to Massachusetts? Because of our inventory tax. Why are all those distribution companies and warehouses just outside our border? Because of taxes. So we're not lowering taxes, we're not lowering regulations, we just keep making more of them. And now we're putting just another burden on job creators, which is this minimum wage.
yeah.
Instead of taking care of the regulations, the energy costs, the inventory taxes, the commercial taxes, which are often 50% more than the residential. You're a business guy. You're just a small guy, right? But you see the effects of it.
Yeah.
What if you were trying to put a manufacturing facility in Rhode Island or a high-tech company?
I can't even imagine the overhead, per se. They grant National Grid, charge whatever you want, basically. I have a 1,000-square-foot store. That's not very big. I don't know else how to describe it. If you have a 2,000-square-foot house, I'm not even half as big as your ranch. Okay? I'm as big as your living room and kitchen.
So about as big as a small house, okay.
$1,200. My electric bill used to be $400 or $500. It's $1,200 now. When you keep adding everything up, and now all minimum wage really is now is an actual indicator. It's this serious. It's an actual indicator of when I'll be out of business. And okay, the landscaper who's got 3 guys that mow lawns did your lawn for $25. Now he's charging $75.
Because he had to give everybody a 36% raise over the last 5 years.
Right, and if something goes up 36% of some cost, you don't raise it 36% because you're still losing money.
Well, that wasn't the only cost.
Oh, that's the problem.
Everything else went up too for him.
Yeah, so I just don't understand, and when I spoke to a fellow, I believe his name was Adam, down on the phone trying to speak with Gina Raimondo, and not asking her to go against her thing, but just would she listen to me and tell her what we're all going through? I ran on minimum wage and I'm not changing my mind. I just wanted to say...
But it's a failure.
It is.
Government is mandating something instead of government going out and fixing what's wrong in Rhode Island.
Right.
You make... Well, we're going to take a break right now and we'll talk about how people make more money
Right.
in a thriving economy. And we'll be right back.